Hello, good evening and welcome to the midweek fix. It's 40 minutes late, but there's a good fucking reason for it. Liverpool will face Real Madrid in the European Cup final in Paris in about 3 weeks' time. City were literally in the final. They were literally in the final, and Rodrigo went, fuck that. Scored two, Benzema scores a penalty, and then they absolutely defended for their life. Militao picked up his hamstring or his groin and walked off the pitch with it in his hands at one stage. And I'm absolutely fucking delighted that Real Madrid got through. I will say, and I will hold my hands up, I thought that City would go through tonight. I said to Shawnee the other day, I'd be amazed if Man City don't make it. I am amazed, and it's a brilliant, brilliant amazement. With me tonight, I have got Ash, I have got Chris, and I have got Keith. We're going to look back at Liverpool's route to the final, how we got there, group stages, all that stuff. And I haven't done any prep for this, so I don't even know what orders the group games were in, but we'll get through it.
It was in the group again.
I've got the order for you, mate.
You are lovely. Chris has done
according to everyone on Twitter, it was Morecambe, it was Shamrock Rovers B team, and it was fucking God knows who else.
Yeah,
Runco,
Midtjylland under 11s, I think it was. In the group. But listen, we're going to go back and we're going to look at that. Loads of people are in the chat. If you're watching, you're very, very welcome. Sorry for the delay in the stream tonight, but look, the game was on. Everybody was watching it. There was no point in us coming on and just talking between the four of us and you missing most of the content that we are putting out. So we did hold it back. It was Keith's decision. I'm going to throw it out there for anyone that's upset. It was a 100% Keith's decision.
For that reason, Gav.
No, listen, it was a brilliant move by yourself. But look, as I said, if you're watching, you're very welcome. Hit the like button. There's 200 people watching, 62 likes. Look, we should be hitting 300-400 likes tonight, right? Simply hit the like button if you are happy that Liverpool are in the European Cup final. That's all you have to do. Keith, I'll come to you first, and I want to go right back. Not to group games, not to the draw. I want to go back to last season. And a lot has been said over the last couple of days about Liverpool being in the European Cup final, and it goes back way beyond the draw for the group stages. It goes back to the back end of last season when Liverpool went on a brilliant run towards the end of the season, inspired by the likes of Thiago, Salah, young defenders in the likes of Reece Williams, and the other lad that plays with Bournemouth, his name has gone completely on my head, Nat Phillips. And players like that literally gave everything for Liverpool just to get us in. We ended up being third in the league, but to get us in the top four, that didn't look likely. When with about 7 games left, it didn't look likely. But going back to that, Keith, it's actually a huge part in our history when you look at it, because what's come after it, the run we have this season in the European Cup, the League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, Klopp is signing a new deal. It's all a knock-on effect in my opinion. And going back to then, you have to give a little nod to the players that you haven't seen much of this season, if anything of them, but they play a huge part at the end of last season.
They really do, and I've seen a lot of heat coming to them on, we all say Twitter's a cesspit of shy at the best of times, but people have been saying, without Nat Phillips, without Reece Williams, Liverpool wouldn't be in this position. And look, it's true, because last year we needed lads to get us over the line. We needed lads to do a job for us. And are the two of them playing at West Brom when Alisson gets the header? Phillips certainly is, because he misses the header.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if Williams set the half from.
Williams bowls up for the West Brom goal.
He lets the runner go, doesn't he?
He gets turned.
Yeah, gets too tight.
Gets too tight, but he's only 18, so...
Yeah. But, they played in that game that I think, was it's one of the greatest moments in Liverpool history. Alisson scored in a header, and what a fucking header. But them boys played their part in that. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like they had to slot in and do a little 2-game stint in January just to get us through when we were in trouble. They played right. They were in and around it right up until the end. And I just think, it's easy to put it down to Luis Diaz coming in January and, Kanate coming in and this, but it does go before that. It does go back longer, because Liverpool were on a trajectory, Gav, and we all knew this, and they won the league and COVID happened and that fucked us up, right? We all people will say, oh, why couldn't you just play? You know, football is played on the pitch. It doesn't matter if there's a crowd there or not. But other people played, and you know, Liverpool's crowd is a huge barrier, or a huge, momentum builder for Liverpool and a huge barrier for opponents. And we didn't have that, and we weren't the same team. But we had to get through by hook or by crook. Now, this season, people were writing us off. We all know that. We saw the predictions for the Premier League. We saw predictions where people thought we'd be out of the top four and wouldn't be in the top four. But that's forgetting how good this team is. And if you think back to how we lost all them players last season, we had the best record up till Christmas. We were top of the league. We had the best record in the run-in. And it was only that period where we'd sort of fallen off a cliff. Other than that...
2 months, wasn't it?
Other than that, you know, you're talking about absolute perfection from this team for a few years now. And they've carried it into this season. Normal order has resumed. We're looking at players. We're looking at Virgil van Dijk coming back from an ACL injury. Taking his time to come back, but now looks like the best player in the world again, the best defender. In my opinion, the best defender ever in the Premier League, the best defender ever in Liverpool's history, and one of the best centre-backs you'll ever see in world football. So, you know, the positives that we have, we needed them lads to get us in there, to get us back, not on our perch. We won't say that because it's tied in with that other shite bag, but we needed them boys to get us over the hump, and they did. So we can't say where we are without them. People get snotty about that, but they helped get us where we are, get us 100%. Back, stabilise us, and it's brilliant. And Nat Phillips got promotion last night for Bournemouth, has been a good sign for them, you know, so delighted for him. Reece Williams didn't work out for him on loan, but look, still in around the squad, still learning. Nico Williams goes off, gets a promotion with Fulham. You know, these lads that took a lot of stick, making nice little careers for themselves, and will come back from loan periods, I'm sure, and maybe involved around, you know, Champions League finals, not in the squads or that, but just in the group, in the party, you know what I mean? So they get to go to Paris and just hang around the team, which is great for them.
Yeah, 100%. Chris Goldie wants to know, can you do a VPN IP vanish ad tonight in a Spanish accent to honour tonight's result?
Sí.
Correct. Real Madrid are wearing jerseys with number 14 on the back of them after tonight's game. So
is that around today?
So that'll be pinned up on the notice board in the reception of the Access Centre from tomorrow morning, which is great. Let them do it. This is what Real Madrid do. You know, as much as I'm happy with Real Madrid winning tonight, Real Madrid do this all the time. They literally go out and they tell the world that they're going to win this and try getting their heads. They won't get into Liverpool's heads. Liverpool are absolutely coming for Real Madrid in Paris in 3 weeks' time. There's no doubt about it.
It's a different Liverpool that faced them in the Champions League final, and it's a different Liverpool that, I know, in fairness, last year when we played them in the Champions League, they were cut up at the back as well and had to throw in Militao, and it could have been Militao and Nacho that played that day as well. But, you know, this is a different Liverpool. This isn't what they're used to playing. Ancelotti, I said it last night, Ancelotti has a good record against Liverpool. Always sort of knows how to do things against Klopp, but this is a different Klopp now as well. So looking forward to this.
Mo Salah wants Real Madrid, and when Mo Salah wants somebody, somebody is in trouble. Ash, Keith covered it really well there about the end of last season and getting in the top four and, you know, finishing third ultimately. Let's look at the Champions League, because I think it was put down as the group of death, if I remember rightly. Liverpool.
Yeah, it was,
yeah. Liverpool, Porto, Atletico Madrid and AC Milan. And when you looked at Ash, it did look a tough enough group, because Atletico were horrible to play against. Milan can be great on their day. Porto, you know, were kind of used to Porto. They were kind of looked upon as, let's take 6 from that and then get 4 somewhere else and see where it takes us. But how did you feel about the group when you think back to then?
Like most people, optimistic, but like I said, look at the names. AC Milan, the history they've got with the competition. Atletico, they've always been a sticking point with us. You can see from the 2 legs that we had with them. Is it last season? We got knocked out one. No, the season before.
The year of COVID.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the year before. Yeah, sorry. And then Porto. Yeah, we've got a good record against them, but they won their league, didn't they, that year? So we have basically the bigger names that you could expect. But we are Liverpool, aren't we? At the end of the day, 6 from 6 from Porto, like you expected. Atletico, I would have taken 4 points. And then same with AC Milan, I would have expected at least 4 points. But to go 6 from 6 is probably more than what anyone expected. So, yeah, worried at the start. But by the end of it, it was nothing more than what we expected, really, I suppose.
Well, sorry for jumping in there, Gav. Sorry for jumping in. What we have to remember as well about that group was this was a rejuvenated AC Milan. This was an AC Milan that were back challenging for titles. It's a Porto team that every other team in Europe would have not been fearful of Porto, but they would have looked at Porto as like a potential banana skin. We've battered Porto over the years, so we didn't maybe see it like that, but it's people are changing their minds on how hard this group was. At the time, this was a sticky group for anybody looking at it. Someone said it there, it's the highest coefficient in the tournament. So, you know.
Laura Duffy says a group had the highest coefficient, even with Milan not playing in Europe for a while. Chris, when you look back at the group, though, we start off against Milan and Anfield, I think. We go 2-0 up, and they come back into it. We go 1-0 up.
Go 1-0 up, and Salah missed the pen, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then they go 2-1 up.
I went to that game.
Yeah, they go 2-1 up before half time. Liverpool come out then, equalise through Salah, get the winner through Henderson, and it was like we'd never been away, you know. And I don't mean that in the sense of we've been out of Europe or anything, but it was like, European nights at Anfield, they're always bonkers. Here we go again.
Yeah, it was it's kind of fitting because I was excited by the group, so you know we finally got fans back in the stadium. I kind of wanted exciting games on paper. I mean, I must admit, when it was 2-1 at time, thinking wasn't quite expecting this, but it was a perfect way to do it. And you know, your captain getting the goal at the edge of the box, you know, it's very reminiscent of what's happened over the years for Liverpool. So it was a perfect start. You kind of thought, well, that's what you want. I mean, the annoyance around that time, I can remember doing shows around it, was there was an awful lot of crying it in of, we can only beat these 3-2. Lots of moaning about the depth of the squad. Lots of players who are now lauded were getting panned early on in the group stage. So we were people forget, it's all sunshine and rainbows now, but a lot were panning this side probably up to about November time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look, you always get that, you know. Even AC Milan haven't been at the top of their game for many, many years. You know, they haven't been challengers in Europe for many, many years. You know, you probably go back to 2007, the last final.
The last final, yeah.
You know, they haven't been they hadn't really been challengers in Serie A on a regular basis. But at the same time, they're in the Champions League. And when you're in the Champions League and you're AC Milan, you have got some quality. You know, the sort of way. And you're going to get fans to go, they haven't been here and they haven't been there. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Listen, as much as 6 wins out of 6 is great, the group stage has been fuck all. It's all about getting out of them. And it doesn't matter really if you come first or second, because there's so many good teams plotted in these groups now that coming second sometimes get you an easier draw. You know, the sort of way. You can come second and a couple of big teams also come second, and all of a sudden you're looking at a kind of outlier somewhere where you're going, I love them. You know, the sort of way. And you kind of see it. You see it through this time. You've seen it through many years in the Champions League. This year, I think a lot of teams that were fancied finished top of their group, and Liverpool kind of they'd 1 or 2 sticky ones that you would have looked at in the last 16. But Keith, you know, without going through every game in detail, you look at AC Milan. Then I think you look at Atletico. We go away to Atletico. We go 2 goals up. They come back. They have Griezmann sent off. I don't know if I have this in the right chronological order. I don't know if Atletico was our first away game, but
it was. Yeah,
it was. We win the game. And,
second away game. Sorry.
Yeah, but just taking that one in particular, we go there and we think it's going to be a disgusting game. It kind of turns into that, but we win it. And as much as people might have been panning us for AC Milan at home, for Atletico away, despite us being 2-2 at half time and people having a bit of a meltdown, to go and win 3-2 away at Atletico, which is a hard place to go and win. It's all about getting out of the group, Keith. And it's a good performance. And people are going the other way then going, we've gone away and done Atletico. We're the masters now.
You see, I think, the result is king, right? Performances are secondary usually. But I thought we battered Milan. And I thought, they got a lucky 5-minute period where they got their goals, where we fell asleep. Atletico, I thought, were lucky as well. You know what I mean? Like, I think the thing about what I found about Liverpool in these groups where we absolutely dominated them all. Do you know what I mean? Like, we went to Atletico, and Atletico is traditionally, we know they've been well off the pace this year. But that's because, you know, we've seen them, we sniffed a bit of blood out of them and went through them, and we absolutely rocked them. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the groups, we just went in and we treated it very unlike Liverpool under Klopp. Do you know what I mean? We usually leave it late and have a last game where we have to do something or get a result out of it to go through. But I found in these ones, you're getting Milan, and yeah, they get 2 goals. But like I said, that was a lucky 5 minutes. I felt we battered Atletico. And then Porto, you know, and we go through these teams. What impressed me was we went through it without any fuss, and it allowed us then to focus on other things at the time. Do you know what I mean? League games, domestic cups, things like that. It wasn't like we were putting ourselves into a position where, right, we have to put all our focus on this. Do you know what I mean? We were able to say, right, we've navigated the group of death with fairly relative ease, and just put ourselves in a position where we could, you know, compete in other areas. And that was the best thing about it for me. You know, tough group. People can say what they want. Atletico Madrid is a pig of a place to go to, because you can't let them get ahead of you, because they start to show you and shut up shop and all this other stuff, and they're rolling around. And Liverpool just didn't let the teams do that. It's the reason why we come on to Villarreal at the end. I wasn't worried at half time last night, and it's because Liverpool tended not to panic when these things were coming up against them this season. It's the Liverpool of a few years ago, which is very pleasing.
Alex says, right, balls on the table here. Would you trade the Premier League for number 7? Well, that's not balls on the table for a start.
No,
that's balls completely under the fucking table.
And
you're not willing to trade them for anything. That's cupping your balls or sticking them between your 2 legs. I don't know. But Alex, I'm not trading nothing for nothing. Liverpool can win the Premier League, and Liverpool can win their 7th European Cup, and they can win the FA Cup. So I'm trading nothing for nothing.
I'd roll the dice and get nothing out of trade them rather than give up on any of them now. So that's the way I am. I'll take a Carling Cup and say, fuck it. Yeah. Give me 4 or give me 1.
Yeah. Ash, just in the last thing in the group stages, because Kev O'Sullivan said exactly what I was thinking. Hands up, who rated Diaz after watching him versus Porto? Watching him versus us for Porto. He didn't. I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm going to say that I watched Diaz away and wasn't too impressed. I thought he was good at Anfield. I'd seen some clips of him and I thought, yeah, he's a good player. He can finish, he's pace, yeah, he's good. I wasn't too sure on him. I thought he was a bit meh, I think was one of the words I used from.
It was one of the words famously that you used from.
Yeah. And I'm completely wrong. I've no problem saying I'm wrong, because I fucking need you doing the podcast. So that's the one thing that comes over as well, Ash. You know, we play Porto twice. We get a look at Luis Diaz. He's being linked, and I know he's being linked with Everton last summer. Stop it. I know he's being linked with Spurs, and Spurs were going to have a look. I think Liverpool always wanted him, but when they seen something happen in January,
he was linked with us for a while.
I think when they seen that Spurs were going to have a bid accepted, they said, right, we have to bring this forward. I think Klopp even says it. He's actually the one that we did want him. We had to move on him a little bit early. But Ash, you know, Shawnee was at Liverpool Porto or Anfield in the Champions League and said he's an absolute player. We win that night, but he said he's an absolute player. But we got to see him, and did he impress you?
If I'm truthfully honest, I didn't know much about Diaz at all. Obviously, the only thing I knew was 2 games that he played in the Champions League. Again, I'm a bit like you. He impressed me in the game at Anfield, but not as much in the away game. Mm-hmm. I think he was the standout player out of the whole team. But then I didn't know if it was a case of he was the best out of a bad bunch, or if it was the fact that he is potentially going to be where he is now in a better team, a better player. So you can see the difference between Diaz compared to some of the rest of the team. And I think, like I said, there's no secret we wanted Diaz. Yeah, probably more this summer than what we were going to do in January. But I think Tottenham forced our hand, and because of that, we're managing to see what he really can do in a team full of superstars. Compared to, no disrespect to Porto, but you look at what the level of players that they've got compared to us. I think we've only seen a glimmer of what Diaz can do compared to what he did do. So yeah, I agree with you, and I agree with Shawnee. Yeah, he's an absolute baller. And I think we saw snippets of it at Anfield, but it didn't do him no justice when we did it at the away leg. So yeah, it gave us an insight, but I've seen now he's in our team, we can see more of it, if that makes sense.
And
so you can fall for... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, there's a couple of people I know that told me, no, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, and never shut up about him. And I had to go to every one of them and go, you know what, you're a bang on, because what we've seen in the meantime is just probably the sign of the season, and it's one of he's just brilliant, and you have to hold your hands up at times and go, I seen a bit of him. I wasn't not overly impressed, but he didn't kind of stand out going, wow, for the sort of money they were talking about. But yeah, you have to hold your hands up now and go, what a fucking signing. Sorry, Keith.
Sorry.
What you have to remember is, right, so you look at a player at Porto and he's got a bit about him, and you don't know what you're getting out of, but you have to look on the other side of that is his international career and the international sort of reputation that he had. He was Colombia's main man. Do you know what I mean? He's coming off a Copa where he's the joint top scorer with Messi. Do you know what I mean? This fella isn't just a flash in the pan, come out of nowhere. Do you know that way? Like, so you can look at him and base it on a game against Porto, but when you have to look at these lads, it's similar when I had this chat on Twitter the other day, Timo Werner and Saul, it was Andy from here tweeted, a near miss on Saul, but you put a player in the team and it has to be the right team. So you look at a player like Diaz. When Diaz was in the Copa, he looked electric. He was playing with the best players in Colombia. Now, Colombia aren't the top team, but they're a good team. And he's playing against the best players in South America, and he looks like he belongs there. And that's what I'm thinking. It's like, right, forget about Portugal for a minute, because you have to look. You've got Pep Linders coming from, he coached over there. You've got Vito Matos as well, that was over there. So there's a strong Portuguese connection at Liverpool. So they're looking at what's beyond these Champions League games and, the high profile matches, and they're seeing everything about him. And what Liverpool look for all the time is character. And what we're seeing about Luis Diaz is he smells of Luis Suarez. He's a street fighter. He's a little tiger. He doesn't give up things. And that's what Liverpool are looking at. So when you're looking against us, if you're getting overrun by a machine like Liverpool, it's hard. If you're the only one trying to track back or win a ball, it doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
If you're part of that machine, you elevate yourself. And that's what Luis Diaz has done. Do you know what I mean? He's really fit like a glove into the Liverpool team. But we knew that because Klopp knew that, and Linders knew it, and Matos knew it, and everyone else knew it.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I was listening to, I think it might be the Anfield rap last night after the game. And Andy Heaton was saying that he had lunch with former Liverpool coach under Benitez.
Paco Ayesta.
Yeah, and basically he was saying that I think he's been in Portugal, or he's been a coach with Portugal for the last couple of years, and he just turned around. The first thing he said to him was, Luis Diaz is a Liverpool player. He's a proper Liverpool player, and he said like just everything about him screams Liverpool. And Shawnee, along with a couple in this chat, have kind of called him out as Frank Ribery, a little bit like Frank Ribery. I think I agree with you, Keith, as well. I have no problem with him being the second coming of Frank Ribery, by the way. But if he has got a whiff of Suarez off him as well, just that kind of all action, if it bounces off, he doesn't mind. He'll use it to his advantage. He goes past you. He has an eye for goal. I think he's going to rip her up next season, because I think Klopp has him playing on the fly a little bit, and just hasn't got the time to drill him. So he's like, right, just go out and play. We'll deal with it. And when he gets, I'm not saying he's going to hamper him in the summer, but he's going to take maybe a couple of rough edges off him and make him be
even better.
More interactive, I think, with the players he's with. Because at times, although he gets assists and goals, there is times where you can see there's that split second of delay at times, because he doesn't know what Mane is going to do, or Salah, or Jota, or Firmino.
It's all instinctive.
Exactly, it's all instinctive, and even the fullback, Robertson, or is Keita coming onto the ball. I think when Klopp gets him and shows him properly and has time to show him, I think he's going to be unreal. Jimmy Young says Walker out, Stones out, Laporte out, possibly De Bruyne out. It's not all lost in the league, boys. Of course it's not all lost. There's 4 games to go. Let's win them all and see where it brings us. Somebody's asking, did Keith go and watch Liverpool versus Brentford? He did. Don't get us started.
Did I never tell you about that?
No, you didn't, but we might talk about it later.
Highlight of the season.
Chris, a couple of highlights from the group stages, if you want. I have to throw in Alisson scoring that header because it's something I watch probably 10 times a week still. Yeah. Somebody, I think it was Red Steve, who said, I haven't really listened to any of this. Thanks, Steve. He says, but has...
He must have been modding on another channel.
He must have been doing another moderation job or contract on another channel. But Chris, he asks, does Nat Phillips' Cruyff turn in the San Siro get a mention? Is that one of the highlights of the groups? Or if you have any more, throw them out there. And Keith, have a think as well. And I'll come
Thiago's goal is the best goal of the season.
Don't steal me thunder, you. You've had your
because I was sitting there waiting.
Get him off.
Doesn't even hit the ground.
Sing the song then. Sing the song. Do the careless whisper to it, because that's what made the goal even better when all the videos were careless whisper with no music on it. Tonight the music seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. What a goal. That's the highlight of the group stage for me. That is absolutely brilliant.
Okay,
it's one of the best goals I've ever seen. One of the best goals I've ever
seen. Apart from the one that Keith has robbed, apart from the Cruyff turn, by Nat Phillips, is there any other highlights for you?
I think the biggest highlight I've seen is what this Champions League group stage showed was how good the squad is, because people forget we started with Gomez and Konate as our centre backs against AC Milan. Van Dijk didn't get on the pitch, and I think when we've now seen, we haven't talked about it now, but how good Klopp is with 5 options, because that is why we're still in a title race. That is why we're still doing so well in all the cup competitions. He's got his substitutions perfect through his cup competitions. And look, we've all been critical of Klopp at times for how he uses substitutions, whether they're too late, they're too soon, they're not reactionary enough. They've nearly all been perfect, and the highlight of that would have been probably when we come to the next round, the last 16, the triple sub he makes wins the game. And I think it's just give more kudos to Klopp's brilliance as a tactician, which I don't think he gets enough credit for. But also, you just realise how good the squad is. I mean, the Champions League basically is the birth of Konate. You've now realised you've got this absolute monster at centre-back, and he's only 22. He is absolutely unreal. I mean, the highlight is Thiago's goal, which Keith stole. But
doesn't hit the ground.
It's like,
I don't think it does now. No.
Do you know the like the £1 flyways you used to buy from the corner shop? It's like when you hit one of them, but it just wobbles in the air and it doesn't look. It just doesn't look natural.
Cup champion it was called over here.
Yeah. It's just one of them.
If anyone in the chat feels that ball did hit the ground, let us know and I'll tell you it didn't. But you can throw it in the chat anyway. 196 likes, nearly 300 people watching, 196. I think we can get to 300. So, as I said, if you like the fact that Liverpool are in the European Cup final, hit the like button. You don't have to give us super chats around. I got one earlier. I have it here. And I'll read it out later because it's probably something we'll talk about as we talk about the final near the end. But if you think that hit the ground, you're wrong. But throw it in the chat and then we can name you as well.
Wait, I've got one other highlight.
Oh yeah, go on. We let you have one more because Keith stole yours.
Bobby's first goal away at Porto, just for the way that keeper ran back after the ball. It was like something off Benny Hill. You just needed the Benny Hill. It is the funniest goal I think I've ever seen, where it's just like a FIFA keeper trying to catch the ball. He never gets anywhere near it. That's probably one of the funniest.
Haven't we come across some shit keepers in this Champions League?
Absolutely lunatics. Some
absolute lunatics. Ash, have you any highlights from the groups?
Mine's a bit biased. I went to the AC Milan game, the first one of the Champions League.
Don't go on about it.
Yeah, Jesus.
God's sake.
I'm trying to take it off of Keith now. No, it's the first game, obviously, with the crowd back as well, and the atmosphere was absolutely electric. Obviously, other than the 5 minutes before half time, and the mood was a bit sombre when you're going to grab a pint, But as soon as the second half went back, the roar was unreal, and it just drove the team forward. And again, it's hard to compare it when you're watching it from the telly and when you're actually there, but that whole day, the whole atmosphere, it was just buzzing. Like the AC Milan fans were brilliant as well. They went there not even expecting to win. They were just glad to be there and be back in Champions League and to face us. But yeah, it's just the atmosphere from the first kick to the very last one, absolutely unreal. It was just
Champions League back in front of the fans. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah, and it was everyone's like that buzz, and it's like we're back, and yeah, nothing beats that in the group stages. But That's me being biased because I was lucky enough to experience it.
From that game, I think Henderson's goal is really good. Because when
Yeah.
it drops out, you're like, is he? Oh, he's not hitting this, is he? And he does. It's really good. AC Milan away. Divock turns up and decides he'll have a go, which is sound.
Great header.
Yeah, and do you know what? Like the I suppose the Thiago one is right up there because it's just people literally arguing online for 3 days about it hitting the
Still
ground.
arguing now,
And there's no argument. It doesn't hit the ground.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit the ground.
But you know what makes a great goal? Sorry, I always cut across you when you're about to say something else. For me, what makes a great goal? People will talk about Vincent Kompany's goal for Man City into the top corner. Great strike. That's fair enough. You know, it's a good strike. You see 15 of them every weekend. Do you know what I mean? And every level of football, you can see that. You'll see, you know, players beating a few and, you know, scoring goals. It's the ones that you don't see very often. So, you know, Dennis Bergkamp's against Newcastle. You know what I mean? When he flicks it around,
Dabizas.
Greek fella Dabizas, and he just gets onto it, and people are like, "Oh, it's lucky, he does this, he does." Get a ball and do it. Do you know what I mean? Show me
His
how
goal,
he's done it.
but you see, the thing about Bergkamp is his goal away at Leicester is better. Where
No,
he
I
takes,
don't think it is.
Ah,
I don't think it is.
It is.
I don't think it is because he's got 3 of them. He scored one of them for Holland against Argentina as well. My point is, the ones
he takes it and then he flicks it over you, man. It's a fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
goal.
All right, I've got a question. I've got a question for you then.
You know?
That's what Casey Taylor was good as well.
I've got a question for you then. So, Henry's goal against Man United when he flicks it up over his shoulder and on the volley, is his better than Patrick Berger's for Portsmouth against Charlton when he done the same thing?
I think it's seen as better because of who it's against.
Yeah, because of who it is and who it's against.
Yeah.
Right,
but the technique of it is, I think Berger's is a better strike, personally.
It was further out as well, if I remember rightly.
I think the Bergkamp one away at Newcastle is brilliant, but I think the one away at Filbert Street against Leicester was just unbelievable. The way that
was a great goal. Yeah,
takes it, flicks it, and just
that done that every game. You know what I mean? That fella bleeding like Velcro on his boots. Do you know what I mean? Like the ball stuck to him, and he was brilliant at it. But the one against Newcastle was one that give someone a ball, fire a football into someone with a defender up their arse, and see how many times they can do that. And I'll guarantee you, no one can do it ever once. Do you know what I mean? So that to me is like a bit of magic.
Well, Dylan O'Rourke says Mo just posted on Instagram with the caption, "We have a score to settle," and Dylan is now horny. So there you go. And I had one there. Owen Conway says Keith going to Brentford over Ash going to Milan. I know which one I'd listen to more. I'd listen to Ash more because Keith hasn't shut the fuck up for about 6 months. Brentford, so I'm quite happy to listen to Ash.
I'm getting lashed over every week.
What?
Ash has said more about Blade AC Milan than I've ever said about Brentford.
Now,
just
listen,
wait
That's 5 minutes.
Now listen, come here and I fucking tell you. If you want the definition of delusion, what you just said there is the definition of delusion. Because
wait till I talk about my game.
I swear to God, nobody's talking about any games to go to, right? Just go to the fucking game, enjoy it, and that was it.
But you know what? It wasn't even that I spoke about the game, which I kept referencing, I think, Fabinho in that game.
Yeah.
And people have got shut about the game. I'm going to keep talking about it. It's going in our end of year highlights
but like,
on the Trippers.
Why aren't you talking about the point you had and all and the laugh and all?
Keith, it's your catchphrase though.
No one wanted.
The games only the games are they're only a sideshow to having the crack, I think.
The highlight was the pub I ended up in on the walk home back into town, and they had blue bottles the size of pigeons in the place. There was a karaoke and you couldn't even hear it when the flies were going by like that.
Manny Singh says, "You Scousers are pathetic. You deserve to get beat by Inter Milan and then get Benfica and Villarreal a la Madrid." It's great, isn't it, Manny?
Love him. Hit that like button there, man.
Hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know if you think that ball hit the ground or not when Thiago hit it. And we take yours as the casting vote. Knockout stages, they make a complete and utter bollocks of the draw. Yeah.
Oh, we had the Salzburg.
We had Salzburg.
Poor what's his name? Wasn't it Arshavin doing the draw?
Shevchenko.
Yeah.
No, wasn't it Arshavin?
No, it was Arshavin, was it?
I thought it was
Arshavin.
I thought it was Shevchenko.
No, I'm nearly sure it was Arshavin
because it was in
face.
Russia, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, it was his
meant
poor
to be
little
in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, it was his poor little face. I remember. Now, unless someone just randomly put a picture of Arshavin up on the day, and I took it was him, but no, it was definitely Arshavin. And
Laura Duffield tells in a minute.
we get Salzburg, and then the draw has to be redone because they pull out Manchester United when they shouldn't, or Villarreal when they shouldn't, and then they decide, and then they try to just gloss over it. It was fucking brilliant. They tried to just gloss over.
United got PSG, didn't they?
United got PSG, and it was like,
but then didn't Milan?
You can't do that, and then they were like, just pick another name there, just pick another name. So they pick another name, then they move on, then they realise they haven't put Villarreal back in, and then they throw them back
Madrid,
in again.
Then Madrid trying to say, well, no, just redraw the last 4 because the first 4 you did properly. And we're happy with our draw. Don't draw it again. Because Madrid were fuming there. Like, that's not what we want.
John confirms it was Arshavin because the final was meant to be in Russia. Manny is a Man City fan, says to have serious. He could be, and he's more than welcome. But don't get that upset, Manny, for fuck's sake.
It's only a game of football.
But they make a bollocks of the draw. They make a bollocks of the draw, and they, United are fuming because I think they get PSG. We ended up with Salzburg, didn't we? And we were like, literally the Liverpool official Twitter and all their things was like, the captions up straight away, Salzburg, blah, 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 blah. And then it was like, no, they're going to have to do it again. We end up with Inter Milan.
United got PSG in the first round, the first draw, and they had to redraw it. So they got Atletico.
They got Atletico in the second draw, We got Salzburg, and we ended up with Inter. Chelsea
got Lille and ended up with Lille.
Got Lille again.
Yeah, they got
Chelsea
Lille again.
Right.
Chelsea just
City got City got someone and ended up with Sporting Lisbon.
Did they get Benfica? Was it
Benfica?
Something like that. Yeah. So City's draw was pretty straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah. But we got Inter Milan, and Inter Milan, of course,
champs.
Really on the up. The champions,
the champions of Italy, and they were after overtaking AC Milan on the top of the league as well. Yeah. So this is another revisionist history thing where people will say, sure, Inter Milan are shy. They weren't shy when we played them, and people were going on about, banana skin for Liverpool, tough one for Liverpool. So
aren't they still second in Italy at the moment?
Yeah, well,
they blew it the other night, didn't they? The keeper made an absolute balls of a back pass.
He passed it into his own net. More or less. Owen Burke says, breaking news, ref blew up 10 seconds early tonight. Everton are writing to UEFA about it. First year. But look, we get Inter, and it's considered a harder draw than RB Salzburg, and quite right. They've some really good defenders. They've some really good midfielders. Although their midfielder, Barella. He was out because he was suspended. They had got Latoro up front. They had Dzeko. They were a decent side, Inter. But Chris, I'll come to you first. We go over there, and Inter are good. They press us well. They play quite well. We're not at our best, but we just
hit the bar early, don't we?
Yeah, but we just go over there and we just do our job. Salah scores. Firmino scores, am I right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
Firmino with a header. No, it was Firmino and Salah, wasn't it?
Firmino opens the scoring,
yeah. Salah makes it 2. Comes back off somebody and he puts it in the top of the net. But
the key though was the 3 subs, because he brings on Henderson, he brings on Firmino, because he takes Fabinho off, which surprised me, and he takes Harvey Elliott off for, I think it's for Keita, and that just gives us a bit more control on the ball, and then we dominate then. But it was quite brave from Klopp. 55, 60 minutes in, triple sub, which you don't see very often. And that's where you saw the strength of the squad. Because that's when that infamous Inter Milan YouTuber became famous, because he was very upset that his side got beat, which is quite funny. Something like that, yeah. But he was guaranteeing that they'd go through. But for all the talk of how good Inter were, I think they only had 1 shot on target the whole game.
No, on target, did they?
Or was that maybe it was the second leg? But
they
had a lot of possession.
Yeah, they had no shots on target.
But this was the game where you seen the fear that Liverpool put into people. Like Ash, the Dzeko tries to run Van Dijk and just gets swatted aside. Lautaro Martinez gets the ball 1-on-1 with Van Dijk about 40 yards from goal, literally turns and starts running back towards his own goal because he doesn't want anything to do with it. And it was it was the definition of a professional performance. Liverpool go away in Europe. They keep it tight-ish. They make changes. They get their goals. They get out with a 2-0 win. And job done. Let's get back to Anfield.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was just a mature performance, really. Like you were saying, Martinez and Dzeko were running towards and see Van Dijk coming past him, and they think, not a chance. I may as well just give up now. I'll just go back home. I think that's just the presence that Virgil brings. It's the calmness. He scares strikers. And it's not just Milan. He's done it at the Prem. He's done it in Europe as well. And like I said, for 60 minutes, we did what we had to do, but it wasn't happening. And like Chris said, that triple substitution just changed it. And whereas we've seen in the past, like last season, Klopp was a bit hesitant when to make the subs and who to substitute on and off. I don't think he's actually made a bad substitution once this season. And that game in particular, 3 on, 3 off, game changed. And then, what was it, 2 goals in 3 minutes, I think it was in that game?
Yeah, they were quick goals. From what I remember.
8 minutes between
them.
75.
Oh, was it 8 minutes? Sorry, yeah.
75 and 83.
And it is Firmino and Salah.
Yeah, so like I said, substitutions, game changes, 2-0 up in the space of 8 minutes, and then it's a case of just seeing out the game. And other than last night, we've done that well. Once we've got in control and we've got ahead, we've seen out the game and no problems. Like I said, I don't think Milan had a sniff today in the first leg, and it summed up when you see Virgil and the strikers are just like, nah, I'm not having this. I'm not having this. I give up.
Because Keith's a big fan of Lautaro Martinez, but
huge fan.
Literally said
he's a good player. He's
running away from Virgil van Dijk in the wrong direction.
And Dzeko as well. I'm a huge fan of the two.
Well, Dzeko tried to break through and Van Dijk
didn't have the minerals to get through.
No, he just went after him and went, no, this
you could see his face, his heart was breaking, like, you know what I mean, when he was trying to run through.
We lose the second leg, Keith. We lose the second leg 1-0. Lautaro actually scores.
Lovely goal.
What's his face? The fella that plays the piano got sent off.
Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez gets sent off. But this is the start
2 minutes later, like 2 minutes after the goal.
Yeah,
so
he gets sent off. But Keith, this is the start of calculated risks by Liverpool. Because I don't know if you have the Liverpool team in front of you from that game, but from my recollection, you kind of went, "Whoa,
I've got it."
He's changed a few." But this is where we see calculated risk, Keith, and 5 subs, and using the squad and the whole lot, and it's where you start to see the evolution of this Liverpool squad in this season for me.
Yeah, it was a strong team in that second leg. Curtis comes into the midfield, but it was Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho, Thiago, Curtis, Mo, Jota and Sadio. But what he does in that game as well, in the other game, the first game, is he does the game in the San Siro, he does Bobby a half-time for Jota. And it's something that we've seen with last night as well. He's not afraid to make a half-time change if it's not going right. Klopp is very much, with the midfielders last night, he let them play and get trusted with them. But he has shown that if he needs to put a bit of impetus up front, he will do it. But, Inter Milan, it was seen as a hard one. And a lot of people made out, Inter were all over us. I don't think they created too much.
I think they had 2 shots. I think Alisson had 2 saves to make all game. Yeah, I didn't do the post-match because the post-match was very doom and gloom for getting to a quarter-final. And I seem to remember that was in the middle of the run-in for that month where you're going, of all the games we had in that month, you're going, that was the only one you could afford to lose by 1 goal, and it didn't matter because every other game we had.
And this starts to materialise throughout the season now. Because we do our job away from home, or we do our job at home. Chris, we get through Inter Milan, and this is where the results start to go a bit mental, don't they? Benfica knock out Ajax, am I right?
Yeah.
So that when we were expecting they knock them out, the quarter-final draw comes up and we get Benfica, and we know we'll get Bayern Munich or Villarreal in the semi, and we're all looking at it going, Bayern Munich in the semi, and on the other side you were kind of, it was Chelsea.
It was Chelsea, Real, City and Atletico.
Yeah, it was a really hard, it was a tough one to pick on that side. Although Kev O'Sullivan has called Real Madrid from early doors in this even after that quarter-final draw. But you look at Benfica then, and we're away in the first leg, and again we go and do our job. Kanate, you've mentioned earlier, makes a mistake, lets Nunez in, and he scores. But we're really good in that game. Diaz scores at Benfica to make it 3-1, and again,
Chris, the opener as well.
What?
Yeah.
Canate gets the opener.
Yeah, Canate gets this is his streak as well with his headers. But Chris, again, we're going away in Europe. Again, we're doing our job. Away goals don't matter. It's a 2-goal lead again going to Anfield, and you're looking at it, and again, we're looking to make those calculated risks. But it's a great win away in Benfica.
Oh, this is brilliant. And Sadio Mane scores again, and he's now the highest scoring African player in Champions League knockouts. This just seems to be when Sadio Mane really wakes up in Champions League, is when he gets to the knockout stages. This is when he turns up and gets his goals. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's just become the routine now, is it? Matip or Canate, and you just don't shrug. You just shrug. It doesn't really matter, whichever one. But corners, no one could deal with Canate. He's just ridiculous. He makes Virgil van Dijk look small, which is saying something. And I think this is one of the games where you really saw what Diaz gives you. He's just the directness of him and the lack of respect, actually, he gives people, which is just, I don't care who you are, I'm going to run through you. And I don't care if you're a new player or well-established, I am going through you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And to be honest, Liverpool have had that for a little while because the players are established, and it was brilliant by Klopp to put him in because it just gives the extra little fire in the belly, because it's just a club he wants to beat, from his Porto background, and he was getting pelters most of the game, and he did really well. We probably had a sticky 15. The Canate goal did give them a bit of hope,
100%.
But which we had to manage that. But again, credit Klopp. 60 minutes, Henderson comes on, Firmino comes on, Joss comes on, calms it down. So the same things happen again. It's the same sort of 3 or 4 subs, and this has been the.
They score early in the second half, don't they?
They scored in the 49th minute.
Yeah, and I remember it being about 15 minutes of. I remember it being about 15 minutes of like this, not look shaky, but we're giving them some sort of impetus here, and then like Chris said, we just make those subs and we just go bang, settle down again, and we actually took control of the game, and probably could have had more than 3. But Diaz scores right at the end. Jota should score. Yeah, Diaz scores, and then Jota should score at the end. I think he tries to dink the keeper, isn't that right?
Yeah, he tries to think it just doesn't quite get underneath it. But this has been the unfortunate with Bobby's injuries recently, is Bobby's been a very good 40 guys coming on 45 or 60 to calm it, because of his link play and what he's really good at. Plus, he's still very dangerous as a goal scorer, which I think is what we've done really well in semi-finals, is because we probably could have done with that at times with Bobby, but we found a different way of working. But the theme's the same, is calculated rotation and key subs at key times coming off, and I don't think he's put a sub on yet that hasn't really made a positive impact for us.
We've spoken about subs throughout this season, because it is something that you could throw at Klopp over the last couple of years. Subs he makes, does he make the right ones? It's probably more the timing of them and how long he leaves games. Because that's probably manifested out of Rafa Benitez, because Rafa Benitez, Andy Gray used to say it all the time on Sky, Rafa Benitez will make a sub on this minute, and this minute, regardless, and he used to always stick to it. Whereas Klopp, you wouldn't know what he would do, and then at times you'd go, why didn't he make that earlier? He's given, and then people would shout about loyalty and shit like that. Oh, he's too loyal to players in game, he's too loyal to players fucking outside, and all this sort of stuff. But I think this season in particular, I think the subs have been absolutely excellent. They've made impacts. They've, like you said there, they've settled games down, and they've won games for us. They've protected leads. They've been absolutely brilliant. Ash,
it's triple changes on around the 60-minute mark in that game. The same as Inter. Same time. Inter was 60 minutes. Yeah. So he's doing them at a set time, but he's not afraid to do multiples.
But there's a double edge to it, Keith. There's a double edge to it, because it's to impact the game, but it's to save the squad as well.
Yeah,
there's 2 reasons for it. It's not like I'm putting 3 on and they all score. It's fucking great. He's putting 3 on with, they can affect the game, but the 3 lads I'm taking off are playing at the weekend, and I need them for the weekend.
It's not giving someone the curly finger because they're not doing it.
Exactly.
Right, you're out, and we've seen players reacting to coming off and all, and you more or less telling them, look, there's games coming down the road. You know what I mean? Stop getting the fucking home.
But we then get to Benfica at home, Ash, and again, in my head, I think it's calculated risks.
Great game.
It was a great game. Bobby gets a couple and stuff, and I'm not. The lads will have the team up now in a minute, I'm sure, because I know Keith and Chris are looking at the teams. But to me, in my head, Ash, it's a calculated risk again with the team, and it's a really good game. Benfica are really good. They take their chances when it comes to them. Alisson makes an outstanding save near the end from Nunes. But
he was great.
Again, like Ash, we're managing this situation. It's not like in years gone by where you go, get them 11 on the pitch. You have to get these 11 on the pitch. We have to do this. He's like, no. I'll play this 11 and I'll bring these 3, 4 or 5 on and we'll get through it. And at the weekend, we'll all be fine. But again, a couple of frailties there maybe defensively. But overall, Liverpool are comfortable.
Yeah, and I think it all goes down to the fact that Diaz scored so late in the first leg. I think if it was 2-1, then I think the team in the second leg would have been stronger than what it probably was. I think the fact that we had that 2-goal cushion, it kind of gave us a little bit more breathing space to, like I said, to make the change and not potentially put out the strongest 11, knowing that we need to go and finish a job. I think we had enough faith in the team that we put out, knowing that we can make changes and still get a job done. And I think that just goes back to the fact that we're so much stronger now as a team compared to what we were 12 months ago. You know, like we keep saying this over and over again. Last year, we couldn't string a defence together. And all of a sudden now we've got players in every position twice over, competing every week and every game. And no matter who Klopp picks, you just know it's going to be all right. And you've got faith and trust in whatever team is going to pick. So, yeah, the changes was made. But then you just know it's not going to be much difference in terms of performance and expectations and how we're going to play anyway. So I think, and like I said, I think it all comes down to the fact that Diaz scored late in the first leg. And I think that's what determines the fact of the team that's been chosen and the approach that we take to the game, really.
Did we read out the team?
No, throw me the team for that Benfica.
So this was a League Cup team, and that's the beauty of it, right? So Alisson starts in goal. It was Gomez at right back, Matip, Kanate, Tsimikas in the back four. It was Naby, Hendo and Milner in midfield, and it was Diaz, Bobby and Jota up front. So tongue-in-cheek about it being a League Cup team, but it's the sort of team that does a lot of changes in that. Do you know what I mean?
And we've an FA Cup semi-final a couple of days later, don't we?
Yeah. So because we've done the damage in the first leg, we are able to do that, and we're using a squad. And again, it's all being calculated, risk versus reward. Is the reward worth the risk? Yes, it is. We can put a team out there because even if we concede, he was confident that we'd have had enough.
It was a back four that played together, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think
this. Sorry, Chris. Sorry.
Well, I say up till 20 minutes from time, you wouldn't have known that back four and play together. And John rightly points out in the chats that those changes is probably why we won the semi-final and City didn't, because City couldn't afford to do those changes. That was kind of the beauty of the time, beauty of us.
Yeah, City were away at Atletico, weren't they?
Yeah,
the following night or whatever. Yeah.
But again, that was a game. Van Dijk and Trent don't even get off the bench.
Yeah,
perfect. You know, that's all you needed, because you're sat there going, when we went 3-1 up, you're going, even when they got to 3-3, even they got to 4-3, you're going, you can't see us conceding 5. Because at some point, you'd just thrown Van Dijk on for the last 10 minutes and gone, shut up shop if you need to be.
Yeah.
So,
but
it was an exciting game we wanted.
Again, we're making subs when we want to. We're saving legs. You see the team that goes out.
Triple sub on the hour.
Yeah.
Again.
And you see the team that goes out in the FA Cup semi-final. And it's absolutely leathering into Man City, because they don't do it the previous weekend. They play City the previous weekend, don't they?
Yeah.
In between the two legs. And, we're not great at the Etihad. We get out of there with a draw, but we're not great. But it's a different game altogether at Wembley. But look, we get through it. Villarreal go and beat Bayern Munich. They beat them 2-1 on aggregate. They have 2 shots on target across the 2 legs. You're like, wow. And you've heard people going, no, it's an easy route. You can't pick your route. All you can do is win your games. And at the end of the day, we should have probably been playing Juventus. No, Juventus should have been playing Bayern Munich, really. Yeah. And there's a couple on our side of the draw where you're kind of going, right, okay, we get Inter. That's just a draw. There's nothing you can do about it. We play Benfica in the next round, who knocked out Ajax. Right? So we could have played Ajax. In the next round then, if Ajax went through, we could have got Bayern. The sort of way. It's like there could have been a totally different run here. You don't choose your route. It's just whatever lands for you, and whoever turns up and whoever doesn't.
It's not our fault Bayern and Juventus can't hold up their end. It's not our fault.
That's true, yeah. And at the end of the day, as good as Bayern and Juventus may be, we faced teams that beat them. Yeah. You know, so you don't know what way it would have turned out. But we get Villarreal and Keith. You know, this is the one most fresh in the memory. But when you look at the Anfield leg, like, we dominated them from start to finish. Now, I'm not going to go into the away leg massively because we've only covered it last night. But we dominated this massively. It should have been more than 2. We're 0 all at half time, and you're kind of going, is it one of those? Not that it's one of those nights, but this is suiting them down to the ground. We get the 2 goals. Henderson won, a bit fortuitous, which is fine. But we get the 2 goals. Mane gets the second, and you're like, great, that'll do. Could have been our side, Keith. But again, we're just doing a job in the first leg that gives us that little bit of breathing space should something happen in the second leg, and it gives us the chance then to rotate and look at who we can play and who we won't play. Although I think in this one we probably use Newcastle as our rotation policy.
Yeah, it was again another excellent example of doing what had to be done, not preserving energy. It's not like we disrespected Villarreal, which Bayern Munich did, and other teams did. You know, Juventus did. We didn't disrespect them, and we knew what was going to be coming. You know, and we managed it well. They offered nothing. We had Everton, didn't we? Before, did we have Everton before that? Yeah, we had Everton the week before that, and they rolled around time wasting and all. So we played the Aldi version of Villarreal the week before, and sort of didn't get too frustrated with it, you know. So the team knew how to manage this. But what we also saw was Liverpool get the goal, Henderson's one. They have Estupiñán on toast for a while. His head is absolutely gone. They get the goal.
Really is gone.
And then within 2 minutes, I think, they get the second one. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, right, boom, they sniff blood, bang, we get in again. And they just put the foot on the throat. And then it's like, not that they didn't want to go and get more, but they knew these are not an attacking team. This should be enough to see us through, because I know we don't want to talk too much about the second leg. We'll talk a little bit about the second leg, but Liverpool knew even if they got goals, we have goals in us. So a 2-0 lead with this Liverpool team, we remember years ago, 2-0 lead in a match going into the 80th minute wasn't enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, this team, you take a 2-0 lead up in Liverpool, we're an attacking team, we're a swashbuckling team, we're a fucking good defensive team as well. And that's what this team have built over the season.
What Villarreal were trying to do, which is something that's only been done once, which was actually by us against Barca, which is if you win the first leg by 2 goals or more, you go through in the semi-finals. That's historically true until Liverpool broke that record in 2019. That's how rare it is. So look, I was at the game, and everyone around us, we're going to Paris.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just felt
you go. Chris let the Everton game slide without opening my mouth. But go on, Chris.
Yeah, well, that's how you felt on the ground. Not that you thought, Villarreal will be shied away from it. Just going, I just don't see us conceding 3 without reply, and that's how it felt. I mean, must admit, half time we're probably all going, oh fucking hell, I didn't actually want to test that theory, but you know, that's how you kind of felt the game. I mean, that game also, we nearly saw Thiago beat his Porto goal with the one that clipped off the post, which was a ridiculous hit from an outrageous distance again. But what I liked about that game is Liverpool were patient. It was probe and patient. It wasn't passive or pass and say. It was probing them and trying not to force it, which I think was knackered them out, because I think you realise within 10 minutes, really can't catch a cold. You know, so anything near him will spill. So I think we realised that while getting a half-decent angle, just shoot at him because he's going to spill it somewhere. And Mane picked up on that very, very quickly. So, brilliant.
We get through last night. The lads done a great show last night. Huge amount of people watched it. And fair play.
I felt it was good at the time.
It was really good. I watched a bit of it live, and then I watched the rest. I actually listened to the rest of it today on podcast. But we get through. We're not good in the first half. Klopp acknowledges that after the game. He said, look, we weren't getting in the right spots. We weren't covering things right. And then he changes Diaz for for Jota, fair enough, because he wants just absolute width on the left rather than Jota drifting in, and then he just wants the midfield to do something slightly different, and they do slightly different. They take complete control of the game, and they run out easy, handy semi-final winners. You know, and you look at City tonight, they're a minute, 2 minutes away from going into a Champions League final against Liverpool, and they can't see it out. Where Liverpool just have the mentality of, we're 2-0 down, fine. We just come out in the second half, we win the second half 3-0. You know, would have been easy for Liverpool to come out in that second half and go, hold on to what we have and hope to nick one, but they don't. They just go out and win, and it was absolutely brilliant. But
there's a composure about them now, Gav, isn't there? Where
100%.
There's not that desperation. Remember years ago, I'm not going back to the black and white days, but you know, the Gerrard slip game, for example, when Gerrard slips and there's this desperation to just keep shoot. Liverpool have that patience now, where, you know, I wasn't worried at half time last night. Liverpool were 2-0 down, because I felt Villarreal couldn't get any better and we couldn't play any worse. And going in at half time, 2-0 and not 3-0, I'm like, this is great. This is all right, because I fancied that Klopp would have got the press. He didn't give them a bollocking. I'd say he just went in and said, right, what the fuck's going on here? Sort this out. He said, not playing anywhere near.
Klopp actually says yesterday that when he goes in, he asked Peter Kravitz to get him a clip from the first half to show them in midfield what they were doing right. And Peter Kravitz said, we don't have one. We don't have a clip of them doing anything right. So Klopp went, okay, well, this is what you're doing wrong. And this is what you need to do. And he said straight away in the second half, they come out and, you know, they felt that Keita and others weren't in the right position on and off the ball. They wanted that changed, and when they got it changed, it was absolutely fine.
Keita deserves a lot of credit, because he's the scapegoat that people use, because I think he's scarred in fans' minds of what he was like at Madrid away, because he had a mare Madrid away. To be fair,
but nobody could come off that pitch at half time last night with holding their heads up for me.
But I felt Thiago was worse, but Keita was the one that was getting the lashings. You know?
Yeah, but you see the thing. Go on, Chris. I'll let you go, because I've something on this.
Yeah. But what I like is he was the one who's getting a lot of stick, because I thought all the midfield was shite. I mean, there was Keita and Henderson. It's one or the other gets the blame. That's kind of just the thing now. So what I loved about that is, fair play to him. This is what some people accuse Keita. I showed a pair of bollocks and went, right, I'll turn this and I'll show you what I can do properly and do the job properly for the team. He was brilliant second half. Could not fault him. He outshone Thiago for me second half. And I was thinking, that's again another big tick for me next to Keita is, well, there you go. People are giving you pelters at half time, and loads, quite a lot, to be fair, social media and, you know, why WhatsApp groups are going, well, fair fuck to him, actually. You know, second half, he did what he wanted, and he got the assist for the third goal as well. So fair play to him.
Great assist as well.
Oh, it's similar against Everton at Anfield. All right. And this is
were you there or something?
I was there, I seen it. But what happened at Anfield was, particularly first half, and there's a break in play, because there was about fucking 70 of them in the first half. But Klopp is roaring at Naby Keita. Now, Naby Keita against Everton, for me, plays literally like a 10. He's centering an awful lot. He's kind of, even when Liverpool had the ball, he was doing doggies left and doggies right, trying to find spots. And Klopp is roaring at him at a break and play. And you can see Naby Keita with his hands out going, what the fuck do you want? And he was basically trying to tell Klopp that, listen, you want me in here, and they literally have 5 men in here. I can't get hold of the ball, you know. And me watching the game, I just couldn't believe he didn't put more width into it and try overload down the sides, particularly down our left-hand side. And Keita would have been the man, you know, to get in that spot, but he wasn't. He was holding more central. And last night, it was a bit similar for me. You know, he's in areas where you're going, you're not going to affect it in there. And if you do get it, you're going to be swarmed, because they were pressing really well. But second half, he finds little spots, he finds little areas. They're all sharper in their passing. It was brilliant, and we get to a European Cup final. Keith, IP Vanish. Do you want to do it in Spanish, or do you want me to do this really quickly and get out of the way?
I would, but you do it really quickly and get it out of the way.
Oh, okay. So IP Vanish is a VPN service that you can use to protect your data, your passwords, and all that sort of stuff on the internet. You can use it on your phone, your tablet, your desktop, wherever you might need to go, or wherever you go on the internet. They have an offer for us at the moment. A link is in the description. 70% off on your yearly subscription. You go to www.ipvanish.com/daytrippers. At the moment, it's working out around $3.20 per month. And it is. It's 70% off. You're basically paying for 3 months, and you're getting 12. So check it out. They are a sponsor of ours. They help us keep things ticking over. And as I said, a lot of VPNs out there are $8 to $15 a month. This is $3.20 at the moment, and Trustpilot have them at 4.6 out of 5. So they are really, really trustworthy. Go and check them out. The European Cup final. We've gone through the run. We've gone through the highlights. We've gone through all the bits and pieces, how we looked at games, how we managed games and stuff like that. But we are in the European Cup final. Paris in just over 3 weeks' time. It's against Real Madrid, as we've seen tonight, because Man City could not hold out. Ash, is that who you wanted to face in the final? When the semi-finals were kind of, you knew City versus Real? Because I know loads of people that fancy Liverpool to win, but would take a loss against Real Madrid way better than they would against Man City.
Yeah, I completely agree. When the draw was made, I instantly wanted Madrid rather than Man City. There's something about Man City, like I said, the money they spend, the way they cheat their way to everything. And I said it to you, I said it on previous podcasts, they're due a win against us at some point in the season, and there was no way on earth I wanted them to get their first Champions League trophy over us. They will never, ever hear the end of it. It would have been nice to stick it to them and get our 7th against them, but there's no way on earth I wanted Man City. I prefer Madrid. I think we've got some vengeance in the pipeline. I think Salah's got a point to prove. I think he's stated it clear last night on BT Sport. I've got WhatsApp groups going off now with Salah's statuses saying that he's got a point to prove and they're coming for him and stuff like that. So I think as well with past previous European Cup finals against Madrid and Paris as well, I think Chris was saying we should stick a wager on Robbo scoring to recreate history. Yeah, I would have chosen Madrid all day long. It's just the fact British teams in the final, they nullify each other, they know each other inside out. It's too much at stake, and yeah, I think it's written in stars for us to play Madrid. I would have taken them all day long, and I think they're there to be had. Madrid. I fancy our chances, but then I fancy our chances against Man City. It doesn't matter who we play in the final. I still think we would have won, but preference would have been Real Madrid straight away, without doubt.
Keith, it's a European Cup final. You just look forward to it. You know, it's a one-off game. I think Liverpool are very good in one-off games, but I think Real Madrid are also excellent in one-off games. This kind of feels a bit to me like in 2018 we kind of felt like we're a good side, we're building, we're exciting, we're swashbuckling, like that word you said earlier. And this time it feels different. It's a little bit like 2005 and 2007. I went into 2007 very confident against Real Madrid, and we had our fucking pants pulled down by fucking Inzaghi.
AC Milan.
Yeah. Who did I say?
Real Madrid.
Sorry,
Real
against
Madrid,
AC Milan. Sorry. You know, but this time it feels a bit like that. Where 2018 you're like you wanted to win it. It was gut wrenching not to win it, but you felt like that's where we've got there, and that's where we want to remain. That's where we want to build towards, where we're regulars in European Cup finals. Whereas this one I'm going into now, and like I feel that I put Liverpool as favourites going into this.
Yeah, you'd have to, because we're going to get accused of, you know, overlooking Real Madrid. Oh, this is who we wanted. We didn't want Man City. We're afraid of Man City. It's not that. That's what Marsh touched on. I just didn't want to listen to the shite about an all-British final again. But not just an all-English final. The all Spanish finals were muck. The all Italian finals were muck. Do you know what I mean? I think it's good to have two different nationalities, two different countries represented in the final. So I wanted Real for that, but you know, I just think there's a difference to this team now than what there was then, and there's a difference to them as well. So that they had Benzema, Bale. Benzema was the third wheel, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like in that sort of famous.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
You know, Ronaldo, Bale, Benzema. They'd peak Modric, they'd, you know, peak Kroos, they'd Ramos, they'd Varane. They're a different team now. But the worry I have about them is where they destroyed us last year was Vinicius Jr. who I don't think is a great player, to be honest, but he's fucking lightning quick. And
erratic, isn't he?
He's very erratic, but he's very fast. And getting in behind Trent a lot in that game, and I'm not saying we're gonna not play Trent in the final or anything like that, because we will, but I think it's the one area that I think Liverpool will have to really, really work on. The rest of it, I think, will take care of itself, because I think as an attacking team, I don't care what defenders they have out there, I fancy us. And it's not down to Mo Salah. I hope he's angry and he has something to prove. But whether it be Mane, whether it be Diaz, we have, whether it's Jota, who, let's be honest, Jota's not playing very well lately. Do you know what I mean? But he still can get you a goal. So whatever way we go with this, I'm not worried about. I think we are the team now that attacking wise you're looking, even though Benzema's having a great season, don't get me wrong, I think we're the better attacking outfit going into this one.
Chris, Keith mentioned something there, Salah has a point to prove, Salah's angry and stuff like that, and I get that, I completely get it. But what I would say is that I don't want this to be made all about Mo Salah, and Salah's on it's his campaign to try and do this, he's on a mad one to try. I don't want Salah to go into that where he feels he has to do everything because of what happened in 2018. I don't think it will happen, because I think there's way more to this squad than just looking to Plumage Mo Salah as to what happened 4 years ago, whatever it might be. But going into this one, like Real Madrid do us in the Champions League last season, but when you look at the team we had to put out, it's like Keith mentioned League Cup teams earlier. Like what we had out against Real Madrid was actually scandalous, I think, for a European Cup quarterfinal. Was it last 16 quarterfinal?
Yeah, I mean we did play Thiago in either the game, which was a bit strange. But I think I won't worry about Salah, the vengeance thing. I think I'd be a bit more if Ramos still played for Real Madrid, because that might be more of a point to prove. But I think it was scoffed at the time because we got knocked out. But one of the things that Klopp always came out with says that's what we want to be, Real Madrid. He said they've got guys who've done 3 or 4 European Cup finals, and it's the same side most years, not changed. 8 of the lads who started that final are still at the club, and of that 8, 5 or 6 will start the final.
Yeah.
So as much people said that it was copping a bit of toffee and it was, lack of transfer funds, whatever you want to say, Klopp's got what he wants, which is he's got a continuity in there. So he's got 5 lads who started that final who will have a point to prove, and 5 lads who want scar from that final. Fabinho, has only started 1 European final for us and won it. So things like that are going to help us. I think, I'll be amazed if Diaz doesn't start the final, and I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be the X factor that's going to turn it for us. Like with Keith said with Vinicius, I think Diaz is our version of that. But he's a more consistent footballer. So I'm made up with playing Madrid, because I cannot be arsed with all English finals. I'm a bit like that with Keith. I hated the Tottenham one. The build up to all this was crap. But it's more of those. If you get to a European final, you want to play not an English side, because it just feels a bit more special to me. So, and something about Liverpool, Real Madrid, there is like a nice synergy, a nice history towards it. So, I'm looking forward to it. But by no means this is going to be a very, very difficult final. But one I'm looking forward to.
Couple of things. Sam Tandy says the midfield is key. Casemiro, Kroos, Modric still keep going, but I think Thiago Fabinho combo can derail them with Hendo or Keita, as long as they all are fit.
I thought Camavinga was excellent for them.
Camavinga was brilliant when he came on.
Yeah, excellent.
He has serious engine on him. Diaz's face at the end of the game was priceless. He had tears in his eyes and genuinely looked like it was all a dream. Well, he just rocked up in January, and now he's fucking, he's going to build a cabinet to put all the trophies in if everything goes right. Jono, I think you missed what I was saying. He said, Gav, Mo Salah in 2018 wasn't on the field long enough to say he made it all about him. He was off early. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Mo Salah, I don't want to go into this final with it all being about Mo Salah and, putting things right from 2018. By all means, if Mo Salah wants to come out and tear Real Madrid a new one and score 3 in a European Cup final, so be it. But all I'm saying is I don't want, like a bit like Chris says there, the build up to all English finals or all Spanish finals a bit fucking or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like a jazzed up league game. I know it's for a European Cup, and I'm not denigrating fucking what we done against Spurs, but you know what I mean. The build up is very league game build up. You know what I mean? Because you're just comparing them against each other, what they've done. But I don't think we will go into it and talking about it's all about Mo Salah. And all I'm saying is I wouldn't like it to be like that. I want us to go in with our strengths.
You don't want Mo just constantly looking to shoot and not, you need to play as a team. You
exactly,
don't need
but not even that, Keith. I don't want to see the build up of just close ups of Mo Salah, and then they run the thing where he gets injured, and it's just that this is the big push on a European Cup final where we just keep watching Mo Salah hurt his shoulder 4 years ago. Last question.
Just a quick one about what Keith said about Vinny Jr. and Trent and his pace. I think that's why Konate are playing the final, because he's rapid. And I think that's something we didn't have when we played him last time. I think we had Kabak and Phillips, was it?
Kabak and Phillips were the centre backs when we played them over there,
Yeah, so with Trent being forward, like we expect him to, he's going to be exposed. So I think with the pace of Konate compared to what we did have with Phillips and Kabak last year, I don't think it will be as much as a problem as what we had last year. Watch, I'll be clipped now, and this will go absolutely tits up. But
don't worry, bro. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah. But I think that's why we might see. I think that's why we might see Konate in the final, because of his pace more than anything.
Couple of super chats that came in that I kept. I appreciate the super chats, but if you're going to put in a super chat, don't just put the comment in and stick a donation into our charity. We would much prefer that, to be perfectly honest with you. But MC says we beat Madrid in 81 in Paris as well. Nice little reminder. And Musa LFC 21 said this ages ago, but I kept it. He says, winner gets Mbappe. Who says no? Mbappe will play for Real Madrid, I think, next season. I don't think there's any.
I think so.
Yeah, not much doubt about that. But would you take him in Liverpool? Absolutely. He's deadly. He's not
killing
too sure.
Mbappe. Yeah, I don't know. They won't go away until he signs somewhere else. There's a chance. LeBron going to the final, him and LeBron are like that. Could sway him in Paris. Kylian gets swept up in the moment. I'm telling you, it's not.
And what? Signs a deal on the back of a smoke box? Like
signs a deal on the back of a smoke box. Takes Divock's place.
Mbappe 2022.
Yeah. Takes Divock's place. Tell you, it's not until he signs somewhere else.
Okay. Go on, I'll ask you now. Chris, confident?
Yeah.
Good. That's all I need. Keith, confident?
We've been saying for a while about a quadruple, Gav, and people can again talk about arrogance and can talk about cockiness and all that. It's
not an arrogance or a cockiness,
a fan.
It's an excitement.
It's an excitement. That's exactly it. And until it's not possible, it's possible. And this is going to be the culmination of it all. And I think this team never has it been more apt mentality monsters or mentality giants. This is what they're all gearing up to, and this is going to be it. Quadruple, signed, sealed, and delivered in Paris. We'll be drunk on baguettes and cloves of garlic, and
I'm not sure you know baguettes. I'm not sure you know baguettes work, Keith.
And loose cigarettes, because we gave the box to Kylian to sign the deal. Ash, confident?
Oh, without a doubt. I've been on the quadruple bandwagon, mate, since Christmas. I think number 7's coming back on May the 28th. Paris is going to be red. We're all going to be smashed out of our heads, celebrating, off in Liverpool for a week on the parade and on the absolute piss. Yeah, I'm buzzing, mate. I can't wait for it. Bring it on. And this is going to go down as probably the most expensive, but the best month of our lives.
Yeah. Oh, it will be expensive, or it usually is. When it is when me and drink are involved anyway. The kebabs on the way home when you're ordering way too much. But look, it's not a cockiness, it's not an arrogance, it's just a pure excitement. I hate harping back to watching Liverpool sides from the mid-late 90s and stuff like that, and you're kind of going, this is fucking shy. But you always think back to it. It's like when you're going through bad times, you think of the good. Like when you're going through bad times in football or in life, you think of the good times to try perk yourself up. If you're going through the good times, you do think back of the bad times and go, I have to enjoy this as much as I can, because we've been there when it's been shit. And for me, Keith knows I've been saying it for ages about quadruple, just because I think the league thing fueled the rest. The fact that it was 14 points, now we 2 games in hand, but that means nothing. You have to win them. And then when that starts going and you're looking, going, we're still the FA Cup and that League Cup, and and then when the League Cup was won, I was like, oh, hold on, because like if you're in an absolute title race and you're in, I don't know, a dodgy fucking European spot, and you think I'll throw off that fucking League Cup, fuck that, you know what I mean, get that out of my way. But it hasn't been like that, and it's just gone on and on and on, and I'm not sitting here for a second telling you Liverpool will 100% win a quadruple. I have said on many occasions I think they will do it, but that's just me being really excited about it. And I said it the other week, if we come out of this with one trophy in the season, lose an FA Cup final, lose the European Cup final, and lose the league by a point, that shit happens. But I'm going to enjoy every single last minute of it until A, the quadruple is not possible, and B, the season is over and you sit down and you go, right, what have we got? But that's just the way it is.
It's funny you say that, Gab, before I finish up. Did you see someone was saying that, if Liverpool only come out of the season with the Carling Cup, are they the all-time bottlers? Do you know what I mean? And I think it was Neil Robertson, the snooker player, tweeted back and says, well, no, because if they were 5 points ahead in the league, and they were 2-0 up in the Champions League final and lost them.
Yeah, but it's impossible.
Whatever happens now, the journey is where, we've enjoyed the journey to get into this position.
Yeah, but the bottling thing isn't. I don't even think you can throw it at Man City tonight, because they're so far in the competition. They're still in the league. You know what I mean? They were in a FA Cup semi-final and stuff like that. I don't think it's a bottling thing. I think it's just shit happens in games of football.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. If Liverpool went now and lost their next 6 games, you go, fuck me, they've bottled that a little bit, because they've literally. It's not even a bottling thing. It's just they've fallen off a cliff. Bottling for me is when you're miles ahead. Yeah. Like I look at Newcastle when they should have won a league title and didn't. Brendan Rodgers should have got top 4 and took 19 points from 23 games, or 23 points from 18 or 19 games. That's bottling the top 4 for me, because it's a long period of time where it's just gone. Bottling something isn't immediate. It's not. Oh, he bottled that. It's like saying that Dillian White bottled the fight last week. He didn't. He just got one bleeding good dig, and that was the end of it. So, look, it's Liverpool haven't bottled anything, and whether they end up with 1, 2, 3, or 4, it's a brilliant, brilliant season. And the only thing I'd ask people is, would you swap being us? Would you swap us? If would any Man United fan swap their season for theirs? No. Well, then I'm quite happy then, if you want to call us a bottler, because I won't swap with you either. You just pack of pricks. So we better get out of here. I think we're an hour and 20 minutes in. So
it's now Thursday.
Big mention though for Man United's protest the other night, which was amazing. Walk out on 73, and at 75 they're still holding it up.
They were winning.
It was absolutely brilliant.
They also spelled Glazers wrong. They had
and by the way, their Ten Hag chant is fucking appalling. But we leave them for the moment. We'll deal with them next season. Before I go, Féileacáin is our charity partner, and we are trying our best to get to €10,000 to help them out. They're a fantastic charity. I'm not going to say any more than that. Link is in the description if you want to check them out. If you read about these people and you read their website, you will see how good they are, and it may push you to donate. If you can't donate and you're not in a position to, that's absolutely fine. Just take the link that's in the description for the donation page, and take the link for their website as well, and send both on to all your family, friends, colleagues, wherever it might be. We're going to keep pushing and pushing until we get to the 10k. We are doing our golf day around a month from now. There's a load of lads that are involved in this podcast that are playing. There's a load of lads involved in this podcast that aren't playing but are turning up for a drink. And there's a load of people that watch this podcast, are involved in this podcast, wherever it might be, are going to join us later that evening for a few drinks as well. We're a raffle, and we're going to try raffle off a load of stuff to raise more money. But I don't think we make the 10k by that time in the next 5 weeks, I think it is. But we're going to keep going until we make it. And if that means July, August, September, or this time next year, it doesn't matter. We will keep going until we are able to present Féileacáin with €10,000, all right? But as I said, trophies, if you give me the 10k before the 28th of May, I won't ask for one more trophy. To be perfectly honest with you, that'll be enough for me for the season to say we've done 10k to give to this fantastic charity. Ash, anything else before we go?
No, nothing from me, Gav. Just up the quadruple chasing Reds. May the 28th, Madrid, we're coming for you. Salah hat-trick, number 7 on his way, and we'd be the best team in the world. There you go.
Chris, anything else before we go?
Has anyone checked on Davo since last night?
Davo, after 4 minutes. People love these Davo updates, right? So let's go. I think you might make it a feature.
I have a genuine concern about him now.
Yeah, so Davo, as people know, most people watching now and most people that listen to the podcast afterwards, Davo is awful, right? He basically loses the plot. So basically he predicts a 2-2 draw for every game Liverpool play, right? He calls it a Desmond, right? He'll tell you he's running the variables before all the game, and about 20 minutes before kickoff he says, I've ran the variables, it's a Desmond, it's 2-2, right? Cool, no problem. Then he jumps in behind the sofa for most of the game, eating share packs of crisps and fizzy drinks. He gets really upset and literally shouts complacency in a WhatsApp group from literally from kickoff. Last night, 4 minutes in, last night, right? Liverpool are 1-0 down, and he just put in the group, well. As if we're fucked,
We've had a good run. We've had a good go.
At half time, he was like, I fucking knew it. I could smell this a mile off. This isn't fucking lost the plot. And then then this morning, because he's up early, he works it's 5 in the morning. And this morning, he just put in the WhatsApp group, I love the smell of a European Cup final in the morning. So he's absolutely insane. Keeping up with the Daverans, it could be a show, Emma Kavanagh. But Davo's mad. And most of them are, in fairness, they're all bleeding. They're all insane. But
it's just how they drink it in, isn't it? It's how they watch the match. Davo's a very positive fan, and he's a very, he's
but in the WhatsApp group,
absolute wealth of knowledge. But when the match goes on, he just
like a switch. And then, of course, like you mentioned last night, Dicko was the biggest Jonah ever. I have him in my phone as Dicko the Jonah, because genuinely, if Dicko said, I'll put it to you simply, if Dicko said to you on a Wednesday, your bins, say your bins get collected on a Wednesday. If Dicko said to you on Tuesday night, your bins will be collected in the morning, the bins aren't being fucking collected in the morning, right? Because something will happen and the bins won't get collected. That's how bad Dicko is. So, but we'll keep you updated with Davo, because loads of people have asked about Davo in the last little while. Yeah, we could probably video live watching the match.
Watch along, Davo behind the sofa.
Yeah, but if we're not being sponsored by Walker's Crisps or Tato or something like that, we're not doing it. But look, that's it. As I said, hit the like button on your way out if you can. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share across your social media. Thanks a million for the comments tonight. If you're listening back to the audio podcast, it's very easy on any of them apps to hit the review button. Give us a 5-star review. Tell everyone we're deadly, and more people will get to listen to us across Apple, Google, all that sort of stuff. I haven't a clue, Keith. It's just one of the lads told me that actually works, so I'm throwing it out there. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, all good. I have me Santos top. I don't know if I mentioned
Santos,
that coincidence. I had me Santos jersey on tonight, and former Santos prodigy Rodrigo gets 2 goals to knock Pep's team out.
Did you put that on after he scores 2 though?
No, I put it on before he scored 2. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I believe it.
I think it wouldn't get changed just to put it coincidence.
No problem.
Won't put it past you, Keith.
Either would I. Right, that is it. Liverpool will play Real Madrid in the European Cup final on the 28th of May. Real Madrid went through against Manchester City tonight. Liverpool, of course, defeated Villarreal last night. We have looked back on the run and the route to the final for the Reds. The quadruple is still on. Tomorrow is Thursday. We have a day off. I'm playing golf. Don't fucking annoy me about shows tomorrow. I'm playing golf. Piss off. Right? Friday, we will have Sports Unplugged. Saturday night, we will have Full-Time Reds. And we will be back on Sunday with the Fat Back 4. That has been the Midweek Fix. Thanks to Ash. Thanks to Chris. Thanks to Keith. And thanks to everyone in the chat. You've been amazing as always. Over and out.